Okay. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate an example of an overall rate level indication using the loss ratio approach. I'll be talking about loss ratio indication, credibility, current level, premium trend, loss trend, UA ratio, and expense. Before I dive into this worksheets, there are a few things that I would like to mention first. The number in blue font indicated that it's given by insurance company. The numbers in black font is calculated based on the function listed at the bottom of the worksheet, and the number in red font indicated the selection or adjustment based on personal actuarial judgment, which also means that different actuary might make different selections. Okay. First, the loss ratio indication summarizes the calculation of the overall indication premium change using the loss ratio method on 5 accident years calculated as of March 13, 2016. This calculation is pretty straightforward, and the formula are listed right here. Okay. I would like to talk more about the selection of projected loss LA ratio, which is this one. As we can observe from accident year 2011 to 2015, the ratio didn't change a lot, and we didn't see a significant changes between years. Look, like right here, we didn't see much changes. So, therefore, the selection of projected loss and LAE ratio is based on the average of projected loss and LAE ratio, which is calculated by here. Next, this sheet derives the credibility measures and complement the credibility to be applied to experience period indicated rate change using the classical credibility approach and the square root rule. The credibility and trended present rates indication allows us to obtain the credibility weighted indication rate change at the previous sheet, which is this one. We use the credibility to get this number, and we select it as this number. Okay. Next one is the current rate level. Since the historical premium needs to be adjusted to the rate level currently in effect, the current rate level exhibit shows the calculation of the current rate level factors using the parallelogram method for each year. We learned this method during the class, so this sheet shows the derivation of the cumulative rate value, which is here, and current rate index to obtain current rate level factors in this sheet. So we can we obtain those value from previous sheet and also those value from previous sheet, and based on those two, and then this number is based on some product of those two numbers, so we can then obtain the cumulative rate level factors. Okay. One thing to note here is that portion of premium earned during calendar year for each of the individual rate level groups are calculated based on the assumption that the 6 months policies are written uniformly throughout the year. Here, those are written uniformly throughout the year. Okay. Next is the premium trend. Historical premium also needs to be adjusted to account for the change in the average premium level due to distributional changes in the book of business. In this case, we are using a two-step trending approach. We can obtain annual trend by calculating the percentage change of average written premium at current rate level, which is here. And then we can obtain the annual trend by calculating the difference between years. Okay, the exponential trend based on various length of time, we need to calculate the written premium at current rate level on the different scenarios, which is this one, this one, this one, and so on. And then we can use the same way as we calculated the annual trend to get the trend under different scenario. So those are linked to the calculation right here. Okay. And then we need to select the projected premiums. Okay. This selection is based on the more recent data, which is here. Based on more recent data, because the projection is going to be applied to historical premium already trended to the most recent period. Moreover, the average here, the average of exponential trended under different scenarios are the same as the most recent annual trend, which is 2%. So we selected the premium projected premium trend is selected as 2%. Okay. Here is the here is the graph under different points of exponential trend. We can observe that this is linear. Okay. This sheet used the current trend factor as the selected projected premium trend to get the total trend factor. This one. Okay. Now we are all done with the rates and premiums. Let's look at the losses and expenses. Okay, first we need to select the loss development factor. By using the loss development triangle, we can then obtain the age to age factor. We can get age to age factor is the link ratio between development year or development month or age. We calculated the loss development factor by using 5 different average, including all-year average, 3-year average, 4-year average, excluding the highest value and the lowest value, and then geometric average. My selection is based on the average excluding high and low value, which means it represents the straight average of all link ratios after excluding the highest and lowest link ratio. The reason why I made this selection is because I observed there are a relatively big H2H factors, which I colored in yellow. And the only way to get rid of those two factors is using the average excluding high and low. Okay. Okay, and then this H to ultimate is basically the cumulative loss development factor. Okay. And then next, the loss trend. The current and because the proposed rates will be in effect in a period later than the historical period, the loss and AOAE needed to be adjusted to account for expected trends in frequency and severity of claims between two periods. So we use two-step loss trending approach. And then, so the current, we also consider different points from 2016, 12, 8, and 6 and 4 points to observe the frequency, severity, and pure premium trend. Okay. All the current and projected selection are based on the exponential trend between different points. For current trend, we use the average of 12 points and 8 points, since those 2 points are the average of all the scenarios. So we use this average for frequency, severity, and pure premium selection. For the projected selection, we use the average of we use the we use the average for all points, excluding the minimum, for the frequency, severity, and pure premium. Okay, so we sum them up and then exclude the minimum and then divide it by 5. So we can get the average of those number. Okay. Okay, so those are the graphs based on different points, different point fit from 2012, 6, and then the actual value. We have the frequency trend here, severity trend here, and the pure premium trend here. After we have the frequency, severity, and pure premium selected, we can then get the loss trend factor. Those calculations are also pretty straightforward. Just follow those formula and it's really straightforward. Okay. Next is the ULAE ratio. This sheet shows the determination of ULAE factor based on the historical relationship of paid ULAE to paid losses and AOAE. In this example, 3 calendar years from 2013 to 2015 of countrywide data are used to determine the ULAE ratio. And I use the average of 3-year ULAE ratio as the selected ratio. We then convert this ratio by adding 1 to the ULAE factor. Okay. Lastly, this sheet derives the fixed and variable expense provision using the premium-based projection method. The selection, the red fonted number in this column, the selected ratios for general expenses, other acquisition, licenses and fees, commissions and brokerage, and then taxes are all based on the 3-year weighted average. Okay. We can then obtain, by having those values selected, we can then obtain the fixed expenses provision and variable provision. Those two numbers will be used in the loss ratio indication, which is here. Thank you.